that what is it that we mean by community, a community space, uh, the challenges that we face in running such a space.
For me, community is a space where each one can be an individual
Mhm.
and yet be a, part of that circle where we are all honored for our individuality. Left your nest and moved
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
that is why travel is so valued because your viewpoint does become broad. You do come across different cultures, different ways of thinking, different, and but I can only treat others as I treat myself. So I allow my heart to rule my life. And community
Mhm.
of Bhakt.
Mhm.
I started, that how it joins you together when you are in love with one guru, one God, one person. That
Good morning, Chitra.
good morning, Pooja.
So I'm here to know more from you on a topic which you have dealt with extensively over, I don't know, 20 years for sure, I feel. Maybe more. Uh, I think more because community is something that we all are part of from the moment we are born. But you've been actively leading a community of your own for so many years. And today I want to learn from you and understand from you that what is it that we mean by community, a community space, uh, the challenges that we face in running such a space, your learnings over the years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thank you, Pooja. Uh, I consider you a part of my community. I call it our community, our Sangha.
Yes.
And I'm also aware that you have also, kind of created your own little community. And, your Rainbow Lily project in Bangalore. The thing is, as you said, we humans are relational beings. And we all belong to some community from the moment we are born. Community that my parents belong to, like I'm from Western Uttar Pradesh. So that was one community. We are UPites. And UPites, I mean, you are a UPite, and but you are from Eastern UP, and I'm from Western UP. So even that is a little different community, right? Because our
Mhm.
cultures are slightly different. Then, because my parents are Brahmins, so then you're part of that Brahmin community. And then Brahmin, maybe we are God Brahmins. कोई सारस्वत ब्राह्मण है कोई कुछ और है like my in-laws are मैथिल ब्राह्मण तो उनकी भी अलग अलग communities हैं right but as I look back because I was born and brought up in Punjab. I never fully belonged to Western Uttar Pradesh ethos, nor did I fully belong to Punjabi ethos. And then when I married, my in laws are from West Bengal. But because my father in law's ancestors came from, like they are Mathil Brahmins with a surname like Jha, we were never fully Bengali and never fully Bihari. So you see, communities are such spaces which can be rigid, but in my life, the circumstances were such that I there was never a rigid box. There was always but, you
Right.
know. So that is how my journey with communities began. Then I was part of the army community. बट आर्मी में भी
Right.
क्या है ना हमारे टाइम में स्पेशली The officers all came from either second, third generation army people, or from some kind of little royal blood, or they all belong to some fancy schools and fancy upbringing. So, and I was like from a very different, very simple, basic, background, from vernacular mediums. So that was also kind of, I was part of that community, but I had to always, and this is subconsciously, carved my own identity within
Mhm.
those communities. And
Right.
all these, like, these were the things that life offered me. I didn't kind of go looking for it.
Choose for it.
And
Mm.
similarly, what you're calling my community, the Sangha, I kind of, it just became that people who worked with me, who, and just kind of became like family because we are
Right.
sharing our deepest thoughts together. And I have never pegged myself as a, you know, leader of the pack, though by default, everybody, looks at you like that. But I am more, pedestrian that way. I like little, I don't like कि मेरा आसन हो और मेरे को पता नहीं क्या ही तुम करो. I'm also one of you, uh, and which I am, as ordinary or as much going through whatever anybody is going through. So yeah, so for me, community is a space where each one can be an individual
Mhm.
and yet be a, part of that circle where we are all honored for our individuality.
That is so beautiful, Chitradi. And do you, I mean, listening to you, it just felt that your initial khana badoshi, I don't know what word to use, like not fitting in very well, was also a blessing, or rather, you turned it into a blessing for yourself, I would say, because there are some people who might look at it as a, oh, I don't belong here, and be in that victimhood for a long time, that I don't feel a part of this, and I feel judged. I feel like an outsider. But listening to your story, it feels like a very natural progression, that because there was an element of being an outsider that led down perhaps to this path where you have your own, for lack of a better word, collective. Sangha is a lovely word, so we'll say Sangha.
Yeah.
So,
So very well put, Pooja. I never looked at it like that, but yes, somewhere I was an outsider. I'm born, brought up in Punjab, but Punjabis would never say that you're one of us. I got married to a Bengali. I was an outsider. And then Bengalis themselves, because they were Jhas, they were an outsider in their own, you know. So so always, yes. And even in the army, I was, from a different background. So I'm kind of an outsider. Uh, and also for my opinions, choices, also in a way, an outsider. बट समटाइम्स जो आउटसाइडर होता है ना वो बाहर से एक जो व्यू लेता है
right,
दैट इज अ ब्रॉडर व्यू
right.
एंड यू डोंट हैव द प्रेशर to be like
Hmm.
them, like say for a, like in Bengal, we call them O Bengali. So for a
Okay,
O Bengali, I
okay,
didn't have the, pressure to know everything.
okay.
I could just, I could just be myself,
I
and
I totally relate to that.
yeah, it
Married
was
into a
easy.
Kannadiga family, I can do all kinds of things and get away with it because oh, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know, you know, that is so much of freedom. that she
Right.
doesn't know. So for me, that freedom was very important.
Right.
And that freedom is, I think, what I have sought always. And life has provided that freedom in many ways.
Right. Right. That is really beautiful. And I mean, this was not where I wanted this conversation to go, but since we are here, I mean, it sounds like uh, having this loose belonging to the collectives that you were a part of also perhaps led to this acceptance that you have of so many different point of views, right? Which is a key for having your own sangha. Like if you sit in a very judgmental space, that is not going to um, attract people to your energy, right? But I feel that, the kind of acceptance that you have to so many diverse personalities that are part of your sangha. Do you feel that this led to that?
So one way, yes, that I had a broader, you know, view of life. It's like we say that anybody who's left your nest and moved
Hmm.
out,
Hmm.
that is why travel is so valued, because your viewpoint does become broad. You do come across different cultures, different ways of thinking, different. And for me in my life, that happened very organically. I just, my world kept expanding, and which had space for all kind of thoughts. And today, I would say that it's not like I've always been in that space of acceptance. And even today, I'm not fully in that space, like, say, in my own community, my own Sangha. Uh, Silence sometimes I do not fully accept, or non communication, I do not fully accept. And when I say I do not fully accept, I only mean that it creates some unrest inside me. And
Right.
then I know that this is my work, this is my story. And I openly talk about that.
Right.
So when others see that I also have my own areas of, my trigger points,
Right.
and I'm not blaming them for it. I'm just seeing them as, the uh, facilitators of bringing out my own, whatever my uh, unacceptance is inside me. So it is a journey. Acceptance is a journey.
Right.
Just that I'm vocal about it.
Right. And that brings me to my next question, Chitradi, that how do you how do you find the courage, I would say, to be so open? And I would say not just the people who are part of your Sangha, because you write on Facebook where there might be so many people who are not a part of your Sangha, and you're very honest and open about your struggles and the challenges that you face. And in today's world, there is, and also because I run the space, sometimes random strangers walk in. And with a lot of kindness in their heart, I feel that they offer me so much advice on what I could do for marketing and to attract more people here and all of that. And of course, I give them a listening ear because it's coming from a good space. But I look at you and what you put there. I don't think you monitor any algorithms and stuff like that. So, like, how do you find the courage? Because I at times find it challenging to be courageous with people closest to me as well,
Yeah,
whereas you are just putting it out there
yeah,
completely.
yeah. So it all, it is natural to me. First thing I have to admit that. That it's not
You were
like I'm,
always like this?
yeah, it's not like I've been courageous to, you know, it's just that that's natural to me. In my home space, with my siblings, with my parents, with my friends, I've always, been who I am, right?
Right.
But now comes this putting it out to like whoever. That came much later. In fact,
Okay.
Facebook came. I mean, I joined it in 2007. And that was the time I was getting into all these therapies and, getting all excited about past lives, and meditation had come into my life, all kind of exciting experiences. And some of them I was putting on Facebook.
Mm.
That this cold shiver is going up, or does anybody see an eye in there? And then like somebody wrote, don't write such experiences on on social media, and you go to this YSS center and
Right.
get a somebody who can guide you with that. So over the years, I mean, that was the beginning, but over the years I have realized that this Rahu energy of just putting, being a loudspeaker, but that's my natural way, and guidance comes to me also through that.
Right. Right.
So yes, there was a time my sister would tell me that the kind of things you post on Facebook, if my husband were reading them, I would be divorced. So Dada is like so great. He's so good to you that he's reading, he's liking, and he's not saying anything to you. So yes, my family as well has given me that
Right.
leeway,
Right.
that to just be yourself.
Right.
So, but I don't know, chicken came first or the egg, you
No,
know.
but then that brings us back to how you defined the Sangha community right in the beginning, where you said everybody is an individual. And
Yeah,
I think this is a theme you touch upon quite frequently, that
yeah,
everybody has individual with lot of room.
yeah.
And that is perhaps why, like this all comes together so beautifully. So thank you for that, Chitradi. So I would then ask that in doing this over these years, what was the biggest challenge that you have faced?
So the challenge that I have faced, and I still face that, it's like when I'm the kind of person who is like on a spree. Like अभी ये podcast का spree चल रहा है, tuck, tuck, tuck,
Right,
tuck. My son was
right,
saying, Mama, this is not the way, You have to space once a week or something. I said, says
right,
who? I don't care.
uh,
I'm
right.
on a roll, right? So similarly, there was a time when I was on a roll writing books. I had written these
Right.
4 books in a space of 3 years. And like I was okay, I had 2 more books in the pipeline, One was on spiritual partnership, and
Mhm.
the other was memoirs of an army general's wife. But as I started writing that, book, just the first frame, and I
Mhm.
realized that I may be blatant about, open about my life. But then when I'm writing memoirs or things like that,
Right,
there are so many people who then I'll be
right,
writing about, and it's not my space to do so. It's not
right,
right for me to do so. And then I realize, why do people write fiction? Fiction
right,
gives you that leeway.
right,
So I thought I will write this book as a fiction. But then other things happened. Somnath's homemade journey began, and that became so much exciting for me. And so those books were like, and I said, forget it. And then Facebook became such a big thing. So I said, yeah, so I'm writing every day and I'm getting feedback every day. And so I don't have to write books anymore. So the challenge is that there are other people with you,
Right.
and you can't write about them. And sometimes, because they are so connected with your story, I refrain. I mean, I think that is my maturity now, that
Mhm.
discernment, that now I refrain,
Right.
that that is not my space. I cannot
Right.
write about anybody else.
Right.
So it can be a case study, but because everybody
Right.
has the right to their privacy.
Right.
So yeah, so that is a challenge, or I would say that has been part of my growth now.
Right. It's very beautiful, Chitra. And I guess like every challenge has in its fold a growth story hidden in there. And it's beautiful to hear how that happened for you. And that brings me to my next question. I've made a list maker. So, which is like, as somebody who has done so much work on herself and has gone through her own challenges in a very public way. I don't want to take names, but you had that period and then you wrote about it and your learnings. And when you were on that path, you were equally committed to that. And and you meet so many people who are at different places in their healing journey, whether it is me or I wouldn't even say healing journey. Healing has become such an abused word these days. I feel that I will just call it life journey. And uh, people who are at very different places in their life journey, in their evolutionary cycle. Um, and I'm sure many a times when you look at it, you're like, okay, I get what, or I don't know whether maybe I'm making an assumption that you look and you're like, oh, I know what this person needs to do to get over this or to move to the next thing. How do you look at that? And if these thoughts do come to you, like I said, I'm making an assumption, but if these thoughts do come to you, how do you not enter the space of being critical or judgmental or pushy even when it comes to their life journeys?
Yeah. So thank you for articulating it and saying that I don't want to take names. Let me take that name because I don't have any, there's nothing hidden there.
Right,
So I look at every aspect of my journey as life happens for me. So
right,
I will come to the other part where how I treat others, but I can only treat others as I treat myself. So I allow my heart to rule my life, and I have always done it. By the way I became a college dropout, or by the way I joined married my husband and left my job, and by the way I have chosen my life, by the way I allowed or encouraged my boys journeys, which were also very
right,
different, and by the way I allow myself. So when it was year 2020 and COVID had suddenly come about, and before that, we were thinking of making a permaculture community. We just bought a place and so much excitement and so many things. And I take everything as, oh, Bhagwan ji kya kara rahe hain abhi, And suddenly, like this spanner in the wheel, and then for a time I came into that space that I'm not free, because we were staying in an army guest house that time. We had come there for a few days, but then COVID happened and we stayed there for almost 6 months. And I was very aware that if I cough, and I do get that cough very often,
Right.
then even the person who serves food to us can just say कि मैडम को हॉस्पिटल में दो डालो, कोविड का टेस्ट कराओ. आई कैन नॉट से कि
Right.
नहीं मैं तो मेडिसिन नहीं खाती हूँ, मैं तो ये नहीं करती हूँ. सो ऑल माई इंडिविजुअलिटी, ऑल माई थॉट्स, आई मीन, who cares? Right now, you are a danger to everybody
Right.
if you're coughing.
Right.
So those thoughts were coming that I have always lived my life. I thought,
Hmm.
with my choices,
Hmm.
with my freedom, but ऐसा तो नहीं है. अभी तो मतलब suddenly like नहीं है. And so I
Right.
would write a letter to Babaji every day कि Babaji, what is it that you want me to do today? Because that time the life was such कि each day की कहानी है अब ये,
Right.
है ना? And that is how this person, uh, who was a guru from Ludhiana, just came into, my feed.
Right.
And it was like, because, same Babaji I'm writing to every day, and here
Right.
he's claiming to be a direct disciple of that Babaji. So for me, it
Hmm.
was Agya Paya Kal ki. It has come from, my guru.
Right.
And the joy in my heart was so much that all that कि I am a slave, I am not free, I am मतलब सब खत्म हो गया.
Right.
It was that phase of my life, those 9 months, are actually like a rebirthing.
It was 9 months.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that exact time period.
and
How beautiful.
and totally in public, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And it was a devotion of a different kind.
Yeah. And many of us who were witnessing it were baffled.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, exactly. Because it was like a, नाउ आई नो थ्रू स्टडी ऑफ ज्योतिष कि मेरी साढ़े सती चल रही थी और उसका भी वो पीक था. मेरी सैटर्न की
mhm,
महादशा भी चल रही थी, उसमें वो वीनस की सब दशा थी. तो सैटर्न क्या करता है स्पेशली साढ़े सती में? वो आपकी प्रकृति भंग करता है और वो आपकी
mm,
छत्री भंग करता है. तो इन अ वे मेरी प्रकृति भंग हुई, विच माई नेचुरल जो नेचर है वो एकदम
mm,
मतलब 180 डिग्री टर्न ले लिया उसने. एंड
mm,
जो मेरे ऊपर एक छतरी थी मेरे हस्बैंड की, छत्र छाया थी,
mm,
दैट गॉट
mm.
भंग. बट व्हेन
Okay.
आई लुक बैक, आई विल लुक एट द ग्रोथ. Both my husband and I now love our independence. It would have never happened. And the kind of work I'm doing today, very devotional work, very different work. So there's no algorithm there. There is just a flow. And there is that devotion which has arisen from my heart.
आप ज्ञान से भक्ति की तरफ आ गए
हाँ, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल
उस
आ गई.
एपिसोड में.
You know, so that is also, and a community which was there, community
Mhm,
of Bhakt.
mhm.
I started, that how it joins you together when you are in love with
Right.
one guru, one God, one person, that community, which I was never a part of because I'm not religious by my
Right.
disposition. I'm still not,
Right.
but there is a different energy in me now, and I love
Right.
it.
This is softness.
Softness has come, yes. And with that softness, in fact, some of the people who've been part of my Sangha before and
Right.
after, they actually
Right.
notice that softness.
Yes.
And it's only increasing.
Right. Right.
There is a, so it has just, I see it as grace. Babaji only took me
Right.
there. Babaji took me out, but he dipped me into that, prem ka sagar.
Right.
So that was again. a lesson in community building only.
Right. And he had a community around him
Yeah, we were part
as
of
well.
that community. Yes, absolutely. And
Yes.
uh, again, each one has their own way of running a community. There, he was
Right.
he himself was portraying himself as, God incarnate. And
Right.
whatever that era was, even for me, I
Right.
mean, you look with those eyes.
Right.
And that took me to the work with personality disorders. And I
Right.
still continue to do that work.
Okay.
There is a,
The narcissism and
so not just narcissism, many other, the Machiavellian prince, or
okay.
there are many other, borderline
Okay.
disorders or manipulation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And those are all part of a community. किसी भी community में वो सब होगा ही होगा. Just the
So which
degree
brings
varies.
us to the
Yeah.
judgment bit of it.
Yes, and we'll take this will be our last question. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Until
Okay.
time up.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, judgment, yes.
Yes. So what I was saying earlier, Chitra di, कि आप अपनी इतनी journey आपने देखा है, and then you see others in different phases of their life journeys. How do you keep the judgment out?
सो क्या है ना कि जजमेंट तो एक ह्यूमन माइंड का फंक्शन है. सो आई
Mhm.
डोंट जज माई जजमेंट्स एनी मोर.
And to criticism, would that would be a
आई एम
better
नॉट
word?
इवन
I
ट्राइंग.
know.
Even criticism is also part of the
Okay.
same journey. So I don't judge
Okay.
any of my own thoughts because I see them as a
Right.
guidance now.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, like you judge ऊंचा है कि नीचा है, मुझे गीला है कि
Mm-hmm.
सूखा है. Similarly, I look at every judgment as it is a guidance for me how to be and how not to be.
Right. It's
So
very beautiful, Chitra.
yeah, so I don't judge that anymore. I don't judge labels anymore. कि मैं अपने किचन में भी तो लेबल लगाती हूँ ना कि ये मीठा सोडा है कि ये बेकिंग पाउडर है. सो या ये नमक है, मतलब इट दे कैन ऑल लुक अलाइक. तो आई लाइक
Right.
कि वो लेबल लगाने से एक मेरी एक माइंड मेरा एक वो होता है कि हाँ ये है. बट फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स,
Right.
like Meetha soda will not change its characteristic. Human beings may little, so I have to give them that leeway.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's it feels too short a time frame, and I think I can listen to you talk for a long, long time, Chitradi. But yes, the half an hour time period is over.
yeah,
Thank you so much. A
yeah,
lot for me to think over in my own work here.
yeah,
And there has been an evolution in my own thought process as well. So I'm happy with where I am going, but
yeah,
you are an inspiration because you've been doing this longer and with so much, you might not call it courageous, but I call it courageous with so much openness. And in that aspect, I would say that I always look to you as somebody who can help me do this in a smoother manner without creating too much pressure for myself, if I can say so.
yeah,
बाकी सब बातें तो दूर की हैं, खुद
yes,
पे प्रेशर सबसे पहले हम कितना डाल रहे हैं ना.
right.
So
So अब इसमें क्या है ना, and these are again like our last take on this. But number one, we will have more aspects of community is a large subject, right? So
right,
we can do some other aspect some other time, and
right,
also your rain lily project and how that journey has been for you, uh, because
right,
we learn everything through doing.
right,
जब तक वो करते नहीं है ना तब तक वो कॉन्सेप्ट है. कोई भी चीज,
right.
चाहे वो शादी है, चाहे वो पेरेंट बनना है, जब तक वो होता नहीं है ना जब तक उसमें
Right.
डूबते नहीं है ना, तब तक
सही
यू
बात
डोंट
है.
नो। और उसमें भी जितना गहरा डूबोगे उसमें उतना जानोगे। सो इट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट। सो आवर लर्निंग्स हैपन थ्रू आवर ओन एक्सपीरियंसेस। उससे बड़ा
Right.
कोई ग्रंथ नहीं है।
सही
आवर ओन
बात है.
लाइफ, है ना, बिगेस्ट स्क्रिप्चर है वो। और उसकी स्क्रिप्ट हम ही लिख
Right.
रहे हैं इन सम वे, राइट?
Right.
सो वी आवर सेल्स आर अ कम्युनिटी of all these beings, judgmental being, critical being, grateful being, learner, teacher, I mean everything, the
Right.
whole ब्रह्मांड हमारे अंदर है, पूरी कम्युनिटी हमारे अंदर है।
That's
सो पहले
beautiful.
इस कम्युनिटी का तो ध्यान ले ले, इसका तो लीडर बने पहले, है ना?
That's true.
एंड वंस यू बिकम दैट, देन दैट, जिसे हम करेज कह रहे हैं, जिसे हम कुछ कह रहे हैं, वो अपने आप आता है। एंड वी डोंट हैव टू फायर, वर्क विद द एल्गोरिदम्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड कि
Right.
ये ऐसे होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए। सेज हो, मुझे जिसमें मजा आ रहा है मैं वो करती रहूंगी। जहां पे मुझे ट्वीक करना है मैं ट्वीक भी करती रहूंगी। एंड आई डोंट ओ एनी एक्सप्लेनेशन टू एनीबडी, इट्स माई लाइफ, आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर इट। And that is how the community also. And we will talk more about community, but for today, it has become our inner community. And the
Right. But that's such a beautiful note to end it on, Chitradi. Thank you so much.
yes. Thank you, Pooja.